The day after Remembrance Day, I found myself thinking about the poppy, not because the observance had passed, but because of what it revealed about something I've spent my entire career exploring, the profound meaning of the symbols we choose to wear. There's something paradoxical about the poppy, isn't there? We chose something so achingly beautiful, delicate red petals, almost translucent, catching the light, to represent the absolute horror of war, the blood-soaked fields of Flanders, the incomprehensible loss, the young men who should have lived full lives but instead died in trenches. We could have chosen something harsh, something aggressive, something that looked like war, but we didn't. We chose a flower. And in that choice, there's everything you need to understand about symbolism in clothing and identity. The poppy holds both beauty and ugliness in its scarlet embrace. It's a reminder that these aren't opposites. They're entangled, inseparable parts of the same human experience. You cannot fully understand sacrifice without understanding beauty. You cannot honor death without celebrating life. You cannot speak of war without speaking of peace. This is what symbols do. They hold complexity without needing to explain it. When you pin that poppy to your coat in early November, you're not making a statement about militarism or pacifism. You're not declaring allegiance to any particular political position. You're saying, I remember, I honor, I hope we do better. All of that in one small red flower. I've been working with clothing and image professionally for 15 years, and here's what I know for certain. Clothing is never just about what you like or what fits or what's on trend. Clothing is communication, it's identity, it's belonging, it's memory. Every morning when you get dressed, you're choosing not just fabrics and colors, you're choosing what you want to say about who you are and where you belong in the human story. And sometimes that choice is deeply personal. The grandmother's ring you wear on your right hand, the leather jacket that makes you feel brave, the dress that reminds you of who you were before someone told you who you should be. And sometimes that choice is collective. The poppy that says, I'm part of this remembrance. The team jersey that says, I belong to this community. The professional attire that says, I understand the language of this space. Both matter. Both are sacred. Right now, we're living through a crisis of connection. Our social bonds are fraying. Our communities feel fractured. We're more polarized, more isolated, more uncertain about who we can trust and where we belong than perhaps any other time in modern history. And yet, on November 11th, millions of us across political divides, across generations, across every conceivable difference, chose to wear the same small red flower. That's not nothing. In fact, in times like these, shared symbols become more important than ever. They're the threads that remind us we're woven into the same fabric even when we can't see the full pattern. They're the visible markers of invisible agreements. I see you. You see me. We're in this together, even when we disagree about everything else. The poppy says we share a commitment to remembering, to honoring sacrifice, to hoping for peace. And when you see someone else wearing one, there's a recognition, wordless but real. Now, I want you to think about what you're wearing right now. What symbols are you carrying? What invisible agreements are you signaling? What communities are you claiming as your own? Maybe it's the pride flag on your backpack that says, I see you and you're safe here. Maybe it's the wedding ring that announces, I chose someone and they chose me. Maybe it's the hoodie from your kid's school that proclaims, I'm invested in this community. Maybe it's the color black you wear every single day because it feels like protection, like armor, like the only thing you can control. Every single choice is a symbol. Every single choice means something. And here's what I want you to understand. This isn't superficial. It isn't frivolous. It isn't just fashion or just shopping or just caring about how you look. This is how we recognize each other as human. This is how we build belonging. And this is how we remember who we are. I've built my entire practice around what I call sacred soul dressing, the understanding that what you wear is a form of devotion to yourself, to your purpose, to the communities you serve. And the poppy, more than almost any other symbol, reveals why this work matters. Because when you choose to wear something that connects you to others, You choose to make visible your invisible commitments. You're doing something radical. You're saying, I am not isolated. I am not alone. I am part of something larger than myself. In a culture that profits from your fragmentation, from your sense of never being enough, from your belief that you're separate and competing with everyone around you, choosing symbols of connection is resistance. Choosing to remember is resistance. And choosing to honor is resistance. And choosing to participate in shared meaning, even when it's uncomfortable, even when the symbol is imperfect, even when you're not sure you're doing it right. That's how we heal the fragmentation. That's how we rebuild the bonds. That's how we come home to each other. The phrase, lest we forget, isn't just about remembering the past. It's about staying connected to what matters. It's about refusing to let the threads break. It's about choosing again and again to see each other across all our differences. And yes, Remembrance Day has passed for this year. But the lesson of the poppy remains. The symbols you wear are never just about you. They're about participation. They're about recognition. They're about the invisible threads that connect us all. So, next time you're standing in front of your closet, feeling like nothing fits quite right, like you don't know who you are anymore, like you're fragmented into 1,000 different versions of yourself, remember the poppy. Remember that beauty and ugliness are two sides of the same coin. Remember that symbols hold complexity without needing to explain. Remember that what you choose to wear is never just clothes. It's a declaration of who you are and where you belong in the human story. Your style, your image, your way of showing up in the world, these aren't separate from your real work or your real life or your real relationships. They are the work. They are the life. They are the relationships. When you dress with intention, you're creating space for connection. When you choose symbols that matter, you're participating in shared meaning. When you honor your body with clothing that celebrates rather than conceals, you're modeling for every person you encounter that you and they deserve to be seen. This is sacred activism. This is relational revolution. And this is the work of becoming whole. And it starts with something as simple as a red poppy or a leather jacket, or the decision to finally wear that dress you've been saving, or the courage to show up exactly as you are, knowing that your visibility creates permission for someone else's. The soldiers of the First World War didn't fight so we could forget what they sacrificed. They fought so we could build the world they dreamed of, one where everyone belongs, where peace is possible, where we see each other's full humanity. We're not there yet. But every time you choose connection over isolation, every time you wear something that says, I belong to this community, every time you show up as your whole self, instead of fragmenting into the version you think is most acceptable, you're carrying forward what they started. So I'll ask you what I asked on Remembrance Day. What are you willing to do? What is yours to carry forward? How will you use the symbols you wear today, tomorrow, every day to create a world where everyone belongs? Because that's how we truly honor them. That's how we truly remember, and that's how we become whole. If this letter resonated with you, I'd love to know about it. And if you have friends who might benefit from this kind of reflection on identity, belonging, and the meaning we make through what we wear, please feel free to share, comment, and like. We're building something beautiful here, a community that understands clothing is never just clothing. It's how we find each other in the dark. So what symbols do you wear that connect you to something larger than yourself? Comment below. I'm listening.